Jim Roemer from bestweatherinc.com, Weather Wealth, the only all-commodity weather newsletter in the world that gives trading ideas and is on top of major moves in the market and weather forecast changes often before my competitors. And indeed, we told our clients a few weeks ago, actually about 10 days ago, about a major change in the weather pattern for the grain market. Look at this, one of the most historic moves down ever in one day in corn and soybeans on Thursday, as the Midwestern drought's going to be easing. And I want to give you an opportunity to actually look at some of the software that I use to predict weather weeks and months in advance and to out forecast my competitors. It's called Climate Predict, and I'm giving this for you for free to actually try, though it's pretty sophisticated. It's been developed by me and an alum from MIT to use teleconnections. Here, example, all over the world are the corn growing areas, and all these blue letters you see on top, the AO index, which is the Arctic sea ice, and the Arctic Oscillation Index, the PDO, Pacific Decadal Index, what's happening off the coast of California, Nina 1, 2, 3, 4, La Nina and El Nino phenomenons, all these 28 teleconnections I use to out forecast standard European and American models. Sure, they're pretty good, some of these models occasionally, but they're often wrong. Case in point, I saw this big high pressure ridge dome move to the west about a week and a half before anybody else actually did, and that's pressured the grain market incredibly here over the last few days. Here is the hot dome in red. You see from May through mid-June. Look at it over in eastern Russia hurting the spring wheat crop. That's one reason why spring wheat has outperformed Kansas City and July wheat here over the last week or so. Look at the ridge over the United States that resulted in this drought. The drought's actually mainly in California, the West Coast right now, and out in the Rockies, where record heat is actually keeping a platform in the natural gas market, which is sort of unusual for Western heat to affect the natural gas market. But anyway, what I use to forecast, you can see that something called the EPO index, the ridge moving west to the Gulf of Alaska and the West Coast the next 2 weeks. This is the EPO. It has to do with the Eastern Pacific Oscillation Index. And my program about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago began seeing this shift, the EPO being negative. What will bring a bull market back to the grain markets? What will bring droughts and heat again? You want to see that EPO go positive. You want to see this go positive and the EPO actually looks similar to what happened in May and June. Right now, that EPO is negative, and as a result, I was able to second guess models about a week ahead of anybody else last week. What could happen in the weeks and months ahead? Well, my Climate Predict program looks at the EPO and various other teleconnections, suggesting that maybe late summer could be hot and dry. Look at the red developing over parts of the southern and western corn belt again. That can mean some exciting times ahead. But should you buy corn and beans right now? I think there'll be some short covering. We've seen too much of a break. Weather's still relatively bearish though in the short term, but could begin to become bullish again later in July or August if my long range forecast program is correct. So go to ClimatePredict.com. You can click on a teleconnection, for example, the EPO, and fool around with it. It's a little bit complicated, but there are some instructions. And you can see how these teleconnections influence global weather patterns thousands of miles away. This is the light version I'm giving to you away for free. The more sophisticated version has many more features and long-range forecast techniques that subscribers around the world use. Anyway, enjoy and have a very nice weekend.